The Deckers have a son, Peter, correct? And he did his Eagle Scout training here at the War Memorial, and he found a bell, a ship's bell. I forget the ship, it was some Navy ship.
It's one of the Eagles, sir.
Eagle, yeah, the Eagle, and it was refurbished, and their son built a stand for that bell, which is permanently in the veterans room. John, you know that.
Right.
But it is the bell, since he brought it, that rings every Veterans Day, outside or inside, and it will forever here. So that's another story about the Deckers.
Thank you for explaining that to us. We've always wondered where it came from. So, are there other veterans in this group? And if you are a veteran, would you please stand so we can thank you? The other side of the project of this garden is the bricks, the memorial bricks that we have started to honor those who have served before. Some are still serving today. And the number of bricks that have now increased to 120, which is amazing, considering that we started with nothing. And of course, that has been part of our funding because we don't have any other source of funding other than fundraisers and things like that. So there has been a silent competition in how many bricks one can support or offer. And I guess the real winner is Mr. Gablesberger, who unfortunately cannot be with us. He is in poor health at this point, but he has been such an ardent supporter of our program, and it is, it's Mr. Gablesberger who came up with the ultimate brick that we had forgotten. And I think that Jean is going to talk about that. Jean Azar.
Pleasure to be here. I'm not a gardener. No, yes, I am a gardener. But I don't physically garden because I had knee surgery. So it's the young, we call them knee benders. So I want to welcome all of you and thank you for coming. Thank you for your support for the Garden Center. As you've heard, it just doesn't happen. It needs support. In 1953, when I was 12, 13 years old, my brother left for the war. And I'm not going to cry because my mother cried, and she cried, and she cried. So really, some of those bricks out there should be for the mothers that sent their sons away. So I'm not going to editorialize on that, but it was just a thought came to me today. This past summer, I went to Europe twice. I was in Holland. I'm half Dutch, so I wanted to go there. And I did go through some cemeteries. And it's overwhelming to the point where I literally had to walk away. I couldn't tolerate it anymore. Then I went to Germany. And if you ever go to Dresden and you see what happened to Dresden in the war, that's overwhelming too. So I had quite an adventurous summer. It was fulfilling. But really what I would like to talk to you about is Mr. Alger and how we got to have this house. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about his history. He was known, I have to read it, I'm sorry, I don't know it by heart. He was noted for his distinguished military record. It all began as Russell Alger enlisted as a private for the Civil War. Commissioned and served as a captain and major of the 2nd Military Cavalry Regiment At the Battle of Boonville, Mississippi, he was captured and taken prisoner, but escaped the same day. Pretty good. He wasn't in a 3.5 by 3.5 cage. Commissioned a lieutenant colonel of the 5th Michigan Cavalry Brigade. His command was the first to enter Gettysburg under General George Custer. He was severely wounded at Boonesboro, Maryland. As a brilliant military strategist, he stood on the battlefield with President Lincoln while explaining the present situation and the next move by the Union Army. President Johnson nominated Mr. Alger for the rank of Brevet Major General for gallant and meritorious service in the field, and was confirmed by the United States Senate. Major General Alger served in 66 battles and skirmishes over a 3-year period of time. After the war, he was elected as governor of Michigan. And then he was appointed Secretary of War in the cabinet of President William McKinley. He was appointed by Michigan Governor Aaron T. Bliss to the United States Senate to fill the vacancy caused by the death of James McMillan. He was elected to another term and served until his death in Washington, D.C. in 1907. So we are standing sort of on hallowed ground here. I mean, the history of this gentleman is overwhelming, and we should all be grateful for that.
And this is our collective home away from home, particularly when we work here. So, Mr. Gablesberger really highlighted the idea that there's much more history here than we ever expected. And so I think we need to honor that and keep it in our minds that this was a man who not only served his country in many different ways, but he donated this building to the community, which is astounding. So, with that, I think we're coming to the end of our program, and we just want to thank all of you who have been donors to honor all of those who were important to you, who you loved, who you want to be remembered. And we do. And so we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing that. And now it is my pleasure to introduce you to Joan Gossman, who has agreed to take my place in leading this group forward in the future. I will still be on the committee, but Joan will be the driving force.
Yes, she will stay on the committee. Make no doubt. Marita, as usual, this is another fine mess you've gotten me into. This wonderful lady, who I dearly love, invited me to join the board of the Garden Center, and I was honored. I thought, oh my gosh, I've got green thumbs or not, brown. Can't do anything. Everything I touch dies, including, well, you gotta water it. And anyway, I don't know what I can bring to the table, but I'd give it a shot. So I joined that board, and that was a lot of fun. We had a great fundraiser. And then she said to me, well, I'd really like for you to be on the Veterans Committee. I need to watch it. And she says, I would like for you to do this, and then I would like for you to do that, because it means you're going to work. But now she asked me if I would assume responsibility as a chair, and I think I would love to do it. I'm very honored. And it's fun working with this incredible, hard-working, close-knit group. As the first chair of the Veterans Garden Committee, you plotted a course of development, improvement, maintenance, and fundraising. You gathered a team of talented women who came together with a diverse complement of skills and abilities. There have been several obstacles along the way, including boulders and trees and other things, and alterations in plans, but through it all, you and your committee stayed the course and accomplished so much. I wish you hadn't started me crying. Oh, well, that's why you have long sleeps. While I do not have your rich history, I come to this position with passion and dedication to continue to protect and maintain this special place. Good thing I brought it up here with me. Wait like low. Okay. I look forward to working with the War Memorial and the Grosse Pointe Garden Center to nurture and continue the improvement of our Veterans Garden. However, please do not assume that your work here is done. You may retire your gavel, but you better not put away your garden gloves. Far, far from it, dear lady. You have been the one with the vision, the knowledge, and the iron fist in the velvet glove. You know who to contact and what to say to get things accomplished. Now, tell me, does anyone ever say no to you? I'm going to bet you not. You have been the leader, the guiding light, the mentor, and the liaison for us for many years. We will not let you take a back seat just yet. A little less responsibility perhaps, but you remain a vital part of our Veterans Garden Committee, and we will not let you forget that for one moment. Marika, would you join me at the podium? We have a few things to share with you. And would the committee also please come up here around the podium as well? You wrecked me for it. Okay. First of all, this spring, pay close attention to the retaining wall above the honor pathway near the marble bench. In a few months, we hope you will see. Thanks a lot.
At least you can bet.
In a few months, we hope that you will see the golden blooms of the Marika narcissus. The monthly work crew planted 30 bulbs in your honor, and we hope you see a bright golden statement in the area now known as Marika's Place. Fingers crossed that the squirrels stay away because they were watching every bulb.
They don't like narcissus, they like tulips.
Oh, good. Okay. Next, it's so hard to keep a secret from you because you're a busybody, but I believe we succeeded. Please accept this collage of Veterans Garden photos that represent significant moments in our history. There are awards and special ceremonies along with precious moments with our veterans that grace this frame. Enjoy it with our love and appreciation.
Oh my gosh, you get my photo for it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's really nice.
Oh my goodness. Oh, this is wonderful. No wonder you were so busy.
Because we're not done, and I hope you brought the rest of it. She's going to vacation. And last, a lovely and gracious leader should not leave such a beautiful, special occasion empty-handed. This is a gift from all of us to you. When we find it.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that is so beautiful. Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, woo.
This is all basically a bribe to keep her working.
I'm just overwhelmed. Thank you ever so much. I'm sure we're going to be in great hands with Joan with the help. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, everybody else.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. This was a special occasion, and we made it even more special. Thank you.